What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. Some of the stars on Channel 4's GoggleBox show, which is essentially a group of people sitting in front of the TV giving their opinion on it with some cameras there for anyone who doesn't know. It's not exactly the most interesting programme in the world, but apparently people watch it. Now, we got the Express reporting this morning that GoggleBox star Tom Malone rages over Joe Swinson's general election promise. Now, that headline is not exactly the best headline because, in all honesty, every single star they show in this short clip that we will look at in a moment absolutely wrecks Jeremy Corbyn and Joe Swinson. So, let's take a look at the article and then we'll go over the clip. GoggleBox star Tom Malone was left furious with the latest edition of the Channel 4 show as the sofa surfers watched the political parties launch their manifestos for the upcoming general election. However, the father of four was left rather riled by Liberal Democrat leader Joe Swinson's promise. Tom was joined by his wife and fellow GoggleBox star Julie, as well as their son, Tom Jr., to watch the greatest TV moments from the week on the hit Channel 4 show. As the Malone family watched the news highlights about the political parties launching their campaigns for the general election, the stars of the show made their opinions clear on topical matters. In particular, the father of the clan was left raging over a point Liberal Democrat leader Joe Swinson made. Earlier this week, the party leader made her bid for Prime Minister and told the crowd how she never thought she would be in a position she was currently standing. Watching the speech, Tom said, "Well, that fills us with fucking confidence." We'll take a look at that in a minute. "If you don't think you're good enough for the job, why should we?" he continued before more footage played out. After stating she could do a better job than Boris Johnson 55 or Jeremy Corbyn 70, the Malone matriarch raged anyone could have made the same point. But rather than reading through that, we will just take a look at the video and see what they say for themselves. We don't need the Express to write it down for us.
Meanwhile, Jeremy Corbyn, speaking in Essex, said Labour would get Brexit done in 6 months.
The thing is, right, where's Jezza getting off on the fact that it's taken us 3 and a bit years to get to here? We've had multiple extensions, and he's somehow going to waltz in and get it done in 6 months.
It'd be more believable if he said that he'd found a pile of rocking horse.
Both Labour and the Conservatives want to negotiate and deliver Brexit.
She is annoying. She's a bit shrill.
I never thought that I would stand here and say that I'm a candidate to be Prime Minister.
Well, you're not going to be, so you might as well just screw your speech up and do one.
Well, that fills us full of confidence. If you don't think you're good enough for the job, why should we?
But when I look at Boris Johnson and Jeremy Corbyn, I am absolutely certain I could do a better job than either of them.
You can't just stand there, right? I mean, she's gone and gone, vote me Prime Minister. I could do a better job than them. Anyone can say that. I don't know who you are, love.
That's it, how many people at home are saying, so can I.
I could do a better job than Joe. Vote me Prime Minister.
If you want to leave the EU without trashing our economy or selling out of our NHS, you'll be able to vote for it.
Has Labour gone pink or am I eyes playing up?
No, it looks pink.
If you want to remain in the EU, you'll be able to vote for that.
Basically, he's saying if you vote for Labour, you can have your cake and eat it, which we know isn't true.
Every party leader says that.
Well, you can see there the GoggleBox stars are not pulling their punches when it comes to these politicians. The young girl at the start of that clip's attitude towards Joe Swinson and Jeremy Corbyn is priceless. You know, the target audience of these Ramona parties, and by the sounds of it, even the younger generation are sick of these out-of-touch, screeching idiot politicians like Joe Swinson and the delusional Commissar Corbynov. The rocking horse shit comment was great because it's true. There is more chance of finding rocking horse shit than the Labour Party delivering anything but chaos. Now, I was a bit surprised because clips I had seen from GoggleBox before now relating to these two young siblings actually sounded like they was Lib Dem or Labour voters. But maybe I was wrong, or Channel 4 had just cut out the full context of what they had said previously to make it sound like they was Ramonas. Either way, my opinion of this girl and her brother have gone right up after this. It's good to see not all of this country's youth have been brainwashed by the Marxist Labour Party and the illiberal undemocrats. After the young ones had finished mocking these shitweasel politicians, GoggleBox's other stars joined in, mocking not only the Lib Dems and especially Joe Swinson, but also the Corbynated chicken. You even heard the family sit there mocking Joe's apparent lack of confidence when it comes to being in the position she finds herself. Likely because she was only given that position because she has a vagina. Remember, the Lib Dems and Labour do not believe in promoting the best for the job. They go for the diversity quota before the skill of an individual. Hence, we end up with the likes of Joe Swinson leading the Liberal Democrats. I guess these GoggleBox stars are not aware of the woke ways hard-left political parties promote people into top positions. It's not based on merit, that's for sure. But I am surprised Channel 4 allows its stars to shit-talk Remainer politicians like this. We all know they are not exactly impartial when it comes to the Brexit debate, but it's good to see TV personalities shitting on these idiots, even if they might get some flack for it on Twitter. I'm sure the rabid Ramonin mobs will target the younger brother and sister should they catch wind of them speaking ill of the shitweasel Jeremy Corbyn or the undemocratic spunk trumpet known as Joe Swinson. We all know what the Ramonin Twitter mobs are like, guys, don't we? At the end of the day, you gotta be careful when you work in the broadcast media, going against what the mainstream media pushers want. Maybe it's more proof of what I have said many times before. The majority of Brits are Democrats before they was Leave or Remainers, Tory or Labour Party voters. So democracy has to come first for the majority of people. At the end of the day in 2016, the people spoke and it needs to be honoured. By the looks of it, the majority of people agree with that regardless of which way they have voted in the past. The Lib Dems and Labour are set against the will of this country and its people. Politicians like Corbyn and Swinson need to wake up and realise the country is angry at their treachery. Hopefully at the ballot box next month, a good portion of these traitors will be sent back into the job centre or over to the EU for a job with their true masters, since none of them serve the UK's best interests. They all serve the EU's interests and what's good for them. Take Corbyn for instance. Runs around screaming about the rich oppressing us all when he sits there on a £4.5 million fortune. Pot and kettle comes to mind, especially when you live in a house in North London worth more than £1 million. And let's not leave Joe Swinson out here. You know, equality and all that. Her spouse is connected to a company that receives EU funding, which had been wrongly reported as him owning the company, but I'm sorry to say, regardless of him directly receiving the money or his company receiving it, makes no difference to me. It still benefits him if we remain in the EU, so this company continues to get funding. Because when revenue drops at any given company, like it would should they lose the funding from the EU, layoffs and lower bonuses are the inevitable outcome. So both Joe and her husband have vested interests in keeping us in the EU. So like Corbyn, she is just simply serving her best interests and the interests of her family, not the interests of the electorate. Of course, betraying the British people is not just limited to the leaders of these political parties. Their minion MPs have been doing the same from all sides of Parliament with the help of former Speaker John Burkuck, who thankfully has been resigned to the dustbin of history. Now we just need to continue and get rid of some more of them. I mean, before the elections even started, we've got rid of a fair few of these traitors, but there are still more who need to be kicked to the curb. Hopefully, as time progresses, more people in the media spotlight, like these GoggleBox stars, will call out the Commissar and Joe Swinson for their complete nonsense and anti-democratic ways. We can only hope. Now, most of the article, like I said, was just going over what we've just watched and I've just discussed. But at the end of the article here, it says, towards the end of the programme, the stars of the hit Channel 4 show were also shown footage of Brexit Party leader Nigel Farage, 55, launching their campaign. After hearing what their message was, Lee Riley wasn't too impressed the politician was trying to gain votes by stating the Brexit Party would drop the deal currently on the table. Is that it? Is that his slogan? Drop the deal. The bemused sofa surfer remarked before the star of the show were then informed that the former UKIP leader announced he wouldn't be bidding for the prime ministerial position. It seems one of them's not exactly a big fan of the Brexit Party or Nigel Farage's current stance, which, to be honest, I'm not too happy with it, but I'm not against it. I know why he's doing it at the end of the day. None of us want Boris's deal, and Farage was trying to get him to drop it. At the end of the day, it didn't work, so Farage has climbed down a bit and now wants changes to the deal. But the principle still applies. Lee Riley, I'm not sure why you're complaining about this. The Brexit Party have got no choice. At the end of the day, the people voted to leave. They didn't vote for a deal. So the Brexit Party are offering what people voted for. It's just the first past the post system makes it highly unlikely that they could ever get elected. The exact same applies to the Liberal Democrats and Jo Swinson's fantasy that she is going to become Prime Minister. You know? It's just one of those things. Once the first past the post system's done, then it will depend on the popular vote. So yeah, complaining about the Brexit Party saying about dropping the deal, that's what the Brexit Party is. They are the no-deal party. The Conservatives are pushing Brexit more now that May's gone because they know, if they don't, they're going to be in the shit like they was when May was Prime Minister. You see how they went in the polls, the European elections, the Brexit Party surged. If Boris Johnson don't do his best to get us out, even if it's with his shit deal, then the polls will go back to what they was during the EU elections and the Brexit Party would get a majority. As to whether that majority of votes would actually count to a majority of seats under the first past the post system would be an entirely different matter. But that's all just hypothetical at the end of the day. Next month we will have to actually see what happened. Now I'm going to end the video there anyway, guys. I want to thank the channel's PayPal, Patreon and Subscribe Star members for supporting the channel, along with everyone who watches my videos. Remember to let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Leave a like, subscribe with the notification bell and share this video as it helps the channel a lot. And I will see you all in the next one.
This Parliament is a dead Parliament. It should no longer sit. It has no moral right to sit on these green benches. They don't like the truth. Twice they have been asked to let the electorate decide upon whether they should continue to sit in their seats, while they block 17.4 million people's votes. This Parliament is a disgrace. But they're too cowardly to give it a go. But the time is coming. The time is coming, Mr. Speaker, when even these turkeys won't be able to prevent Christmas.